we having a problem?
Great. Okie doke. Right, so I think we're like a few minutes past, and we can just always have other people just joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Welcome to Wanjiro, Beatrice, Catherine. Thank you everybody for joining us today. We're excited to have our coffee chat. If you don't know already, we have our monthly coffee chats after our webinar. So we have a monthly webinar, and then we have a coffee chat after that. And we've invited a guest speaker a couple of times now to help us to answer some of those questions and the burning questions that you all have for us. So we're excited again today. So last webinar, we talked about marketing analytics and why that's important. And so, of course, if you don't have, and you missed it out, and if you didn't have a recording already, I'll ask More, please, to actually just put the link in there so that we're able, anyone can actually go into that on their own time to have a look at it on the YouTube page. But otherwise, here we are today, and we're all focusing on analytics. So analytics for marketing, analytics for business. And we've got our guest, Timothy Oriedo, and he is the founding chief data scientist at his company called Predictive Analytics Lab. And so I'm going to do a bit of an introduction on him. He's an entrepreneur and a founder, like I mentioned, of a Predictive Analytics Lab. And he's also an executive coach and a business coach. I mean, he's got so many different kinds of, what do you call this, like stars and things on his portfolio. It's phenomenal. I mean, he's been doing quite a lot of different things to help businesses of different scales as well. So small businesses all the way to large businesses. He is certified data scientist by Massachusetts Institute of Technology, so that's MIT, with a competency in data strategy and digital transformation and data value business generator. So that's quite a few things. And I can see that he's also done certified charter marketer with CIM, and wow. I mean, you have quite a huge portfolio, Timothy. You're even an author of a book, Big Data and Artificial Intelligence. I mean, like, this is quite phenomenal for me. And I would like to welcome you, Timothy. Maybe you can do a bit of an introduction for yourself as well. I'm not doing justice to this, so welcome, Timothy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rima. And thank you, Eunice, as well, for the opportunity to come onto this forum. To be honest, I'm feeling quite much at home because I don't know why you're just realizing now that I'm a marketer as well. And that's the first thing you should have realized. Yeah, so I've been around for a lifetime. That's why my profile is such a mouthful. Yeah, but basically what I'll just like to call myself is a big data coach. What do? I help businesses to make sense of data and able to optimize data for their day-to-day decision making. Yeah, so without having much jargon attached to it, it's a pleasure to be with you today, and I hope to have much value to what the intention of this forum is.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for that. And just to, I mean, like, sort of jump into it, because you're in business and, you've got a background in marketing, I think, Timothy, I would want you to start off with the biggest question of importance. What is the importance of analytics in marketing and business?
Yeah. Okay. So the subject of data applies in marketing, considering the principles of marketing. Yeah. So the principles of marketing revolve around helping businesses, to scale the product and services to be able to reach the different target markets in an efficient way. Yeah, so when you underline that, you realize that there are different approaches to taking the product to the market. So if I'm able to give a more granular definition of how data impacts marketing, you may be able to look at the 7 P's, yeah, the 7 P's of marketing. Yeah, so starting from the product. So we use data to help businesses innovate products. So from the feedback that we get from customers, from the production of the different constituents or raw materials, we're able to analyze and see the different parameters of how data can influence the production cycle. We also help data to automate the place. Right now, we are rightfully being disrupted by the advent of the COVID. So we are seeing what we now call the COVID accelerated digital disruption, where most marketing channels are being disrupted. Companies which were not taking e-commerce seriously are now scampering to take the e-commerce much more seriously. Yeah, so we talk about place. Place is the automation. So you find that we're using data to place more emphasis on being able to virtualize our distribution process. Then there's the aspect also of price. And I think one of the things that I need to mention around data so that you can follow this well is data falls under the subject of digitalization. In digitalization, there are 3 layers of digitalization. So you first start with the digitization, which is the conversion from digital to analog. And then you go into the digital transformation, which is the change of behavior to adopt to the digital assets which have been transformed. And then thirdly is the digital reinvention. So data sits under the digital reinvention. So when you talk about price in the context of marketing, you realize that we have a big emphasis on how do we place commodities in the market, how do we price them? Yeah, so you find what we call now the pricing metrics. Yeah, so using things like recommendation engines. Yeah, so like Amazon, how do they use recommendation engines to dynamically price products based on different attributes of the customer? Yeah, so that's one of the aspects of data in marketing. The other angle is promotion. Yeah, so how would you use data in advertising? How do you use data in doing what we call attribution modeling? So one of the examples that I like giving is, for example, the ability of search engine optimization. Yeah, the ability for different consumers to have personalized experience when they're looking at adverts. We consume adverts every day. We have algorithms which are feeding us with that data. If you look at, for example, Netflix, the recommendation of what movies to watch on Netflix is actually driven by algorithms. The recommendation of what adverts that you watch on your mobile phones or what will appear in the videos that you're watching on YouTube are actually driven by algorithms. And that's data. That's data in itself. Yeah. So that's the aspect of data. I've just chosen the 4 P's to be able to define granularly how you can able to cascade data in the marketing field. But there are much more explanations, and I look forward to answering more questions.
Great. I actually love that. Thanks for that introduction and thanks for the information on that. Everyone on the chat at the moment, whether you're live on Facebook or on the Zoom call right now, please, give us your questions. Timothy is here to answer all your analytic questions, in regards of marketing, with regards to your business. So you'd either want to unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can also just, write it in the chat and we will answer those questions as we go along. All right. So Eunice, did you have any question or should I jump into the next one?
Oh, go ahead. Ask the next one.
Okay. All right. So like you mentioned, right? So we've got all these we've got 7 P's of marketing. You just mentioned just a few of them and how all of that works. But then, so the question here would be for a business, for a small business or for a marketer, what is and what can actually work? Is there certain that you feel like there's some can be measured and some maybe cannot be measured?
Sorry, Rima, you may have to repeat the question. I missed out some words. I don't know
All
whether
right,
it's on my
sorry.
side.
I was asking, can some things be measured in a business and there's some things cannot be measured in business or in marketing? Maybe we can give some insights to the entrepreneurs in the chat today.
Mhm. I think we are living in an era where nothing is not measurable. Yeah, so we have what we call metrics. These metrics are defined in business as KPIs. Yeah, so it's just a matter of prioritizing which KPIs you need. One thing that has been the change in the approach is the fact that what was considered immeasurable is now measured. Yeah, so the difference between traditional analytics and big data analytics is the fact that what was considered immeasurable, such as voice, images, videos, yeah, we can now be measured. Yeah, so I'm talking about voice analytics. I'm talking about image recognition. I'm talking about analyzing a video and knowing how many people are in that video. Yeah, so those are the kind of new tools that we're talking about in big data that have breathed in sort of a new life to what is considered measurable. So a traditional marketer may be using structured data. So structured data is the data that's collected through surveys, collected through research, secondary research. But now big data looks beyond that. It looks into unstructured data. So it goes into social media and mine sentiments, mining emotions. So which means you can measure emotions of how the consumers think about your brand. And that's really the key differentiator. Yeah, so in our field of data science, we actually don't leave anything untouched because it can be measured, because we have the disposal of the tools for doing whatever measurements you may desire to do.
Tim, it's an exciting time for marketers because we're getting more data to help us make decisions, but it's also overwhelming. So for us marketers, as well as business owners or founders of businesses, where to start and what to listen out for, what to track, what metrics are most important. If I'm a small business and I'm a small startup, where do I begin?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So there's what we call a maturity curve. Yeah, so the maturity curve sort of try to address the issue of what problems are you trying to solve, what tools do you have access to, what are the level of implementation and capability in terms of your impact of your measurement. So the best place to start is, first of all, identifying the problem you're trying to solve. After identifying the problem you're trying to solve, you assess within your access. So what tools do you have access to? Then after looking at the tools that you have access to, you look at the skills, the capability of the team that you have. So this could be both internal and external. So which means you may having an advertising agency that you're working with, depending on the problem that you want to solve. So yeah, then the fourth thing you need to look at is access to the data. If there's a problem that you may want to solve, but you don't have access to that data. So you may decide, do I need to buy additional data? Do I need to invest in tools that are going to help mine and drill information from this data? Or do I need to abandon the project and shelve it for later when I have enough necessary tools to be able to move on? And then, of course, the sixth thing that you'll do is put together a strategy for now solving that problem, firing all engines into place, ensuring that everyone is informed of what you're doing. If the organization that needs approval, bringing all the parties together, yeah, getting the sign off, and then now starting the analysis. So that's basically how to get started. Yeah.
Okay.
So it may vary from organization to organization, but for a very simple SME, yeah, perhaps the most place to start is asking yourself many questions. And asking questions is a very critical part of data science because you help yourself uncover the right question that help you solve the right problem, which will unlock the right value for the company. If you start asking yourself the wrong question, it means you may not be able to have the right approach. It means that you may invest in the wrong tools, you may invest in the wrong area, which may not be viable to the business. at the moment in time where resources are very scarce. Yeah.
And Beatrice has a question. If you could kindly give some examples of tools we could use.
All right. Yeah, so I could give some top of the mill examples. So you may want to do a market survey. Yeah, so the market survey will call you to use for tools for market research. So there are tools which are open source. Yeah, so we have tools such as the ODK. Yeah, we have our very favorite, the Google survey. Yeah, you may want to develop dashboards. Yeah, so under dashboards, you may want to use tools such as the Microsoft Power BI, which is a very fantastic tool to develop charts. You may want to do analysis. So analysis means you have to invest in tools such as the Excel, SPSS, or other programming tools such as Python and R that we use as data scientists. Yeah, so those are just top of line the tools that you may need when talk about data, helping in making decisions in the organization. Yeah, so the tools also fall in a spectrum from data collection to data analysis to data presentation.
And if I'm a small startup and founder, what kind of data should I be focused on? Because there's a lot, right? I'm thinking of the founders that are here. We've got some startup founders here. What kind of data?
Startup?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of data should they start beginning to collect? For one, as a marketer, I'll tell them, collect your customer data, right? What other data sets could they start to collect?
I think you may start with the problem first. So if I may ask you, what problem are you trying to solve? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just give me a hypothetical question. What problem you would like to solve?
So we're challenged with customer acquisition. We don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
Customer acquisition is our problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So your brand has been in existence for some time, and you like to grow your market share.
So you can use the brand in existence example, and that will help some folks here. And then we can talk about a startup who's just come on to market with a new business model.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll start with the one which is a continuing entity where you want to grow your market share. So basically, one of the biggest problems we solve for marketers is a problem that we call lead generation. Yeah, and the opposite of that is churn prevention. So churn prevention is preventing your customers from leaving. Lead generation is generating new leads. Yeah, so how we basically will go about it is by looking at the data that you have historically of your existing clients. You look at the stickiness of those clients. Yeah, so we use mathematical models to measure the stickiness. Yeah, so some of the questions that I'll be asking myself when looking at the data and acquiring the data. So I'll go to the ERP. Under the ERP, I will look at the data that is 30, for example, like a customer acquires a product periodically. So how long do they acquire that product? Yeah, so you look at the data from the ERP. The other thing you can do is go and do a market survey. So under the market survey, you start asking yourself questions such as, how do you help? What are the attributes that you find helpful for you as a brand, for you as a consumer, to keep buying our product? Then that will help you to develop a model that can say, this is what we call employee satisfaction. So the other way that you can look at it is conducting a net promoter, NPS score. Yeah, so we're able to use the NPS score as a model to generate the likability of your product. Yeah, so you've looked at the sources of data. Sources of data can be classified as internal or external. You can also look at sources of data as being structured or unstructured. Okay, so internal is data that you have internally, such as the ERP records. External is data that you are going to get from outside, from other third party. For example, market research companies. You can get from the Kenya Bureau of Statistics. The census data is a gravy train for a lot of consumer data, or you can also get data from other SC Nielsen, other agencies, yeah, that are commissioned to do market research. Yeah, so I hope that gives you a perspective of sources of data.
Yes.
For an SME, yeah. So on the second part for the SME, maybe what you may just look at is if you do what we call the market testing. Yeah, so there's something called A/B testing. So when the product has never been to the market, we use A/B testing. So the A/B testing is used to classify and project and predict where the customers may be coming from. Yeah, so we use it a lot when we're trying to develop customer attributes for customers who don't exist, for products which are going to be launched into the market afresh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Martin had a question. Martin Hingap, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello, Martin. Or do you want to type in your question?
Martin, are you there? Okay, we can circle back if you want. Or Martin, you can actually just put it on the chat itself as well. Feel free to do that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Beatrice, go ahead.
Yeah,
Beatrice has her hand raised.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you, for your presentation. But I know, like many experts, you're using, you're mastering your vocabulary and jargon, and sometimes you are using acronyms. Sorry, I'm French. My accent is not always super good, and then I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm writing notes, and I'm not sure if I'm writing the proper things. So you talk about ERB or ARB. You talk about NPS or NBS. I have no clue about what you are talking about. Asante sana. Thanks for clarification.
All right. So sorry. Thanks, Beatrice, for raising the red flag. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, there are no other ways of defining it. But I don't know. NPS is Net Promoter Score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's another one you talked about. AB. AB is just AB. Yeah, it's just AB testing. It's a way of doing research to develop a tool that can be used to understand new products launching into the market. Yeah, but I think there are more, and yeah, so I think Rima has been able to type some of these sources of data here for the external data sources. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so I think you can follow through. Yeah, and I can see the question from Martin. So my question is, if I'm starting out in creating an analytics firm, which are the best practices, because each company has different problems that can be tracked? Do I have to create a demo, having the experience, which was your best go-to-market strategy in acquiring clients? Okay. Yeah, so I think I can talk about my journey. That's what mostly I'm more familiar with, and it's been a journey full of experimentation. There's nothing which was cast in stone as the best practice. We were learning from our mistakes. We kept leveraging a lot on our network. But one thing for sure was the proof of concept. So the proof of concept is you to demonstrate to the client your ability to solve the problems that they're challenging you with. Now, a lot of investment will go into the development of the proof of concept. The data problems require three things. So they require the data itself. Yeah, so these data, as I defined, can be either external or internal. There are some data sets that have a cost to acquisition. There's some data sets that have trust before you acquire. So there's no way a client will entrust you with the internal data unless. So what we did was to be able to sign non-disclosure agreements every time you're starting to work with a new client, and that guarantees you. We started to operate in an environment that was unregulated. My farm is 4 years now. We only have had the Kenya Data Protection Act this for it's about 2.5 years now since it came into law. It's not been fully operationalized. So we were trending in very slippery waters at first because we could not get, good representation in terms of litigation. Were there to be foreseeable risk in terms of a breach there. So we were not sure whether a client can take us to court. There was no guideline in terms of how do you approach such a case in breach. So in terms of data acquisition, it was really a dicey issue. Yeah. So the second thing that you need, I've talked about data. Second thing that you need are algorithms. Yeah. So these algorithms are mathematical models that help solve specific problems. Now, the only way you can have access to it is through knowledge. Yeah. So that's why we invest a lot of our time learning. We invest a lot of our time collaborating with professionals from different industries. So when you're solving a problem, an algorithm may not necessarily be developed by mathematicians. Yeah, marketing algorithms are better developed by social scientists. They're better developed by what we call behavioral scientists. Yeah, anthropologists. Yeah, so we find solutions from very unlikely quarters. Yeah, so for example, there's an algorithm that's called what's the name skipping? There's the 6 degrees of separation that defines how a network connects. But if I know you, there's a chance that, yeah, there's 6 people between me and you. Or if I don't know you, yeah, then I'll remember that algorithm, I'll tell you, but it's really an aspect of being able to appreciate that data problems are not solved using traditional mathematics. So you can find solutions outside that. Then the other aspect is the computing environment. Yeah. So there's a space that this data meets the data. Where does data meet the problem to solve? Yeah. So you need softwares. You need computing environments to be able to solve that problem. So that also requires an investment. So if you're starting up, you'll need to have cloud infrastructure. So you may need to invest in AWS or Google, and there are many others, DigitalOcean, the free ones also. So mostly we use the free ones for staging. Staging is where you do the testing, but then you start deploying. You don't want to be on a free platform. You can embarrass your clients when your signal is cut off. Yeah. So that's what that's what it takes to start running. So ensure that you have access to data, ensure that you have the right skills and tools. So you can acquire those skills and tools through partnerships, collaborations, or even learning the skills yourselves. Or thirdly, ensure also that you have access to infrastructure. So big data uses special infrastructure, and that's, I've mentioned some of those infrastructures. So Martin, I hope that can be, gives you an answer in terms of the dimension that you sought to find out about how to get started. Okay, so I can see Scully means generating new clients. Generating new clients. Yeah. I wish I could speak a bit of French. I could break it down.
Sorry, I think we're losing you a little bit, Timothy. You're breaking up. Oh, we've lost him. There he is again. There he is again. All right. Great. I think, Timothy, we lost you for a minute over there.
Yes, so sorry. I was saying I was outside the conference hall, and the audience was breaking out for lunch, so I'd moved through somewhere private outside, but it looks like the internet there is weaker, so I think we can just proceed from here.
That's fine. That's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Timothy, the question you answered earlier, in regards of like some of the infrastructure that you need, we actually had a question from LinkedIn from Gerald Gitao. He wasn't able to join us today for this call, but he asked, what are some of the solutions when it comes to data storage? And I know you mentioned it, maybe you can mention again. And is cloud storage an option? And how can it benefit me and how safe is it? So there's an aspect of the data storage, cloud storage, and how safe it is as well.
Okay. So yeah, where we're moving to cloud storage is going to be the only viable option. Why? Because it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be portable, and also much more easier to work with when you want to do analysis. Yeah, so very few companies are still doing on-premise data. So the companies which do on-premise data storage.
Yeah, I'm just thinking on-premise data storage actually takes quite a lot of like your capital as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so companies which do on storage are companies which are regulated, such as banks. Yeah, so banks who are unhealthy institutions. So due to the data protection policies, some of these restrictions happen that you cannot store data of financial data over, like for a bank, and store financial data out on cloud, and the cloud is out of the country. Yeah, I think we are. I think memories of the Kenyan elections in 2017 were still fresh in our minds when we had the servers in France and could not be open because 1, 2, 3. So those are the kind of dynamics which shape around data. But for small businesses, cloud. Why? Cloud is scalable. Cloud is transparent in pricing. Cloud does what we call metered billing. So you only pay for what you use. Yeah. So it's a more transparent and way. So you can even pay as little as 500 shillings a month. That's $5. You can pay as little as $10 a month. So if you're an SME, I think there's no need of going to buy a huge server that's going to require maintenance, it's going to attract depreciation costs. Yeah, you have reliance on internet connectivity for you to port your data from one location to the other. So cloud is always the way to go. Yeah.
Okay, so can you just repeat again some of the places where small businesses or medium businesses can go get cloud storage from?
Oh, there's Google. Google has a good cloud storage. There's a Microsoft Azure. Microsoft provides very good storage. There are others which are a bit more for large enterprise, such as Oracle, SAP, Sage. Yeah. So all those are options which you can find cloud storage.
You mentioned AWS. Does that also do it?
Cool.
Amazon?
AWS, yeah, Amazon, yeah. AWS, yeah. Amazon Web Services.
Great. I just wanted to put that on the chat for people to. I think I hope I got the Microsoft one correct.
Yeah, Azure. Yeah, double Z.
Yeah.
Double Z.
Yeah. Okay. Tim, the space is so vast and great, and I keep going back to that because I hear from our SMEs and from our founders that challenges. Okay, the data collection is difficult, but now you're clarifying. We can start small, even having a cloud database. You can do that when it's inexpensive. The benefits of doing this, and because I'm seeing trends that are amazing. For example, Amazon now tracks all activities. If you're shopping on Amazon, it tracks what you search. It recommends purchases based on purchases you've made. What are you seeing as in trends for analytics and data that could benefit as smaller, not enterprise level companies, where startups and SMEs, where we could get competitive advantage just because we're using data?
All right. Yeah. So where we're headed is we are seeing a lot of democratization of machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics to the edge. What does it mean on the edge? So on the edge, it means as a small entrepreneur, for example, if you own a shop, you can buy a small device the size of a mobile phone. You put it at the entrance of your shop, and then you'll be able to look at a dashboard that gives you the analytics of customers walking into your shop. Yeah, it can develop models. It can predict which day of the week you're gonna get more customers. Yeah, it can also give you recommendations in terms of how do you price your products. example, to attract the window shoppers, which, so those are the kind of intervention you're seeing, democratization. So technology is coming on the edge. We'll start, of course, you're not going to be required to hire consultants to come and develop those solutions for you. So we are moving at a fast speed where even a lot of these AWS solutions are going to be available to any SME, at a very minimal small price. Of course, you saw Safaricom yesterday were launching their mobile app, and within that app, it gave an opportunity for small businesses to create their own mini apps where they can be able to collect payments. So you can see that that's already something that's doable. So we have solutions which enable drag and drop. So we have a solution where you can just download data of your ERP, you drag and drop it there, and then it simulates for you the prediction model of your customers. So you can see which one are going to churn. It can also recommend to you which market segment is more viable for your products. So that's what we are seeing. So all these are being powered by cloud computing and edge computing. So edge computing has been technologies coming to the face of the customer through their device. So you don't need to hire a statistician, an analytics person to do the models for you. They've already been developed. So all you do is subscribe to that platform and be able to do that by yourself.
Brilliant. So here we'll be able to know when our customers are about to go away and buy it from a competitor. So this is data. So that's information we need to know, because then we'll be going out of business if we lose our customers and we don't know why we're losing them, right? And then I hear that, we can figure out how our traffic of customers is doing, both online and offline, because most people have shops on the streets of Nairobi, streets of Dow, streets of Lagos, and wherever, and they're seeing traffic is less and less, and they don't understand why. And because most people are shopping online now, or are picking up online shopping. If you see the number of people going by your window, would be you should be interested to know, how much traffic that location gives you, correct? And that's the only way to know.
So
right.
True. So those are the kind of scenarios we'll be seeing coming more and more.
So I always look to see what big business is doing and how what they're using, and seeing how we can use it at the SME level and micro level at that space, right? Are there trends that we could borrow from big business that would work as well as in small?
I think one of the biggest trends that you can borrow is experimentation. The big businesses do a lot of experimentation. So even with a little budget that you have, don't fear to step in unknown waters. Just have a small, margin of risk. Try out something new. You never know where the next change for your business will come. So what I see companies with tight budgets do is always anchor. There's what called anchoring bias. Always wanting to do what they know. And having that sort of becomes a sort of a blind spot for them to adapt to change, or even create new innovation streams. So I think for me, it's behaviorally, that's one of the things you can borrow. In terms of technology, I think there are a lot of wastages in the big corporations. So I might say that that's something I can comment cautiously, because I won't recommend some use of technologies that I see being used in big firms. They fear using. Actually, now what you need to do is do the opposite. The big corporates fear using open source technologies. Open source technologies are cheaper. Actually, they're free. So all you need to do is just have a skill to use those technologies. So when you're starting out, just you sure it's open source, and sure you have a trustworthy team that you're working with, and also bring yourself to speed with the emerging evolution in terms of what you need to do with those tools. So it's a tool for 2021 was doing very different from what the same tool was doing 2 years ago. So be aware what the changes are there and how you can be able to optimally use it for the source.
Any questions, guys?
Yeah, I can see a question from Beatrice. How are you collecting data in remote areas using poor internet connectivity? Kindly share apps. Yeah, so yeah, of course, I was going to do a demo with you for an app here, yeah, that we have. So as we wait for the questions to come up, can I be sharing the link where that app is?
Sure, go ahead and chat. You can
So,
share it there.
Yeah. Right. So just go to mobile. So the app is deployed on Android. Yeah. So it's not yet been approved for deployment on iOS, but in the coming weeks it will be. So I don't know, Beatrice, which phone you're using. So just go to Play Store and type.
iOS, iPhone.
All right. Sorry. So that's for now. Yeah, in the next coming weeks, maybe 6 weeks, we'll have it. But for now, let's use this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the demo, we can use predictive analytics.
Okay. Yeah, Tim will be demonstrating something in a few minutes. Let's go through your Q&A before Tim gives us an interesting insight as to what's happening in the collection of data in traditional media.
Yeah.
Guys, please don't be shy. Ask your questions. Tim tossed out an idea of using open source to build competitiveness around your business. Use those tools to get insights, new markets, new customer-based segments, all that you could to grow your business. Post-COVID, most people have gone online, and it's now becoming a natural thing for us to go on Glovo and order from Naivas, to go to your pharmacy and order medication, and a guy in a Dudhi comes by to deliver your goods. If our customers are going online and you're not, what are you missing out? Tim, in the trends for mid-sized business and enterprise, they have actually accelerated their digitization, right?
Yeah.
So why are we SMEs so afraid of getting online or digitizing? Well, tools are as affordable as $5 for a cloud-based solution. Do you know?
Just repeat the last statement.
So if the acceleration of digitization in the mid-size to enterprise level has actually post-COVID gone up, right? Globally. What is the fear in getting us smaller businesses, SMEs, or even startups to digitize? What's the challenge? Is it that because we don't have the teams to support us, or is it fear of technology?
Yeah. So I think that there are different reasons. One is a lack of capacity, driven around by lack of awareness, and on the other extreme, you'll find the awareness is there, but the lack of adoption. Yeah. So this lack of adoption is brought about by lack of resources, those technical resources which are required to adopt to the change. Yeah, that's required. So, for example, you may be aware that you need to install this system, but you are not fully empowered. You don't have the budgets to buy that system. So that happens, and it can be a big challenge. Yeah, it can be a very big challenge.
So we need to recognize that there's, if for those who are listening, that there's an opportunity to develop capacity, talent that supports SMEs to be able to use IT tools, data tools, young data scientists to work with our startups and SMEs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just the skills, but also the use cases. There need to be different problems to be solved, identifiable, yeah, and well measured, yeah.
Okay. Do you then have any live examples that you could share with us of of ways in which SMEs or even startups that maybe you've worked with, or had a use case study you've done on, that have been able to use data and analytics to grow their business and scale up?
Yeah, there are several use cases, companies which have been able to leverage on digitalization and using the
Right.
data that they've been using. Yeah, they've been able to reinvent, and I don't need to look much further. Yeah, rather than just even talking about Facebook itself. It started as a social media company
Mm.
for social sharing, but you can see how they're using the data to innovate new products. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
can talk about Google as well, what they're doing with the YouTube and innovation. Amazon, yeah, they're
Yeah.
data rich. One thing that's changing about these companies, their balance sheets actually look very different from a traditional company. Their balance sheets has got what you call average revenue per user, so which means they value the data they have. Yeah, so the average
Right.
revenue per user for Facebook in Africa is $4 per month. So you and I are making $4 per month for Facebook, yeah, and that you can imagine if how many Kenyans on Facebook you can say about uh, 12 million. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
those 12 million Kenyans, that means how much revenue for Facebook from Kenya? 48
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
million USD. Yeah, so you can already see what kind of data, what aspect of looking at data, what that means. Just compare it now to traditional companies, for example, print newspapers.
Mm.
So the print guys actually newspaper, they don't know who buys the newspaper. The print newspapers are being sold in the streets. They don't have a database that shows this newspaper has been bought by who. So we still have a way to go in terms of KYC. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
getting to know our customers. Yeah, I think a lot of these opportunities for digitalization are going to solve a lot more problems in terms of building models of understanding demand and supply,
Yeah.
producing what is enough. Yeah, reduces a lot of wastages. Yeah, so when you talk about use of data, it can be in two ways: either to grow the top line, yeah, yeah, or reduce the bottom line. Yeah, that's basically
Ah,
the key essence of using data in operations, and that's how companies can grow. Yeah, optimizing the operations and also growing the revenues. Yes, optimizing operations means reducing what you're spending on production. Yeah, and growing your revenues through lead generation and reducing
mhm.
churn for your customers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, one of the things, I just want to add.
Are you frozen? We,
Can you hear me?
yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, my internet's really bad here. But one other thing I wanted to add is it's the really simple things that we can do. Where initially we used to have customer feedback on a feedback form, anything manual, then putting it on Excel sheet, then making a dashboard and analytics and everything. I mean, like right now, there's so many different tools that you can use very easily to get that feedback from customers, which is all digitized, goes into a CRM, for example, and you're able to then see the behaviors and trends and the analysis, like the sentiment analysis that Timothy was talking about earlier, that what are people feeling about your product or service, I mean, at Ardy Marketing, we actually have one of the solutions for your existing customers, getting feedback from them, and then using that feedback to then of course attract new customers, and that's what the lead generation would be, which is kind of user generated. I mean, we're going into marketing for user generated marketing or user generated campaigns, and this is just one of the things you can do. And once you ask those questions from your customers, you can actually get, for example, your value proposition right from there as well. So I mean, those are really simple things, that I wanted to sort of put out there, that you can be able to get from. And we had an entire webinar, like if you've missed out already, when I talked about it earlier, we had a webinar a couple of weeks ago just talking about data analytics and analytics. So and if you want to get the slides from that as well, please let us know. More, I'm going to ask you again to just please put the link for the YouTube video, so that when you have time, you guys can actually go through that again. And then of course, feel free to always shout back at us for any questions you have, following that webinar. But yeah, I mean, like just simple things is what I was trying to say. It doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to
Yeah.
make data complicated, because I feel like as if, I mean, I think one of the reasons why Beatrice brought it up is like, what is this jargon? What do I do? How do I start this for my business? It could be just simple things like those. And as a startup, like the links that I shared over here, that's actually the open data sources that Timothy was talking about, where you can actually get the information about your market sizing, for example. So just directly from the start, as a startup, you can actually get information from there. Or when you're getting into a new location, for example, again, the same thing. You don't have to be a startup for that. You can just, you want to get to know what your market is like, get it from the open data sources, the links that I've shared over here. Make it simple, don't make it complicated, don't make it like, oh my god, where do I start? It could be really simple. So I think what I want to ask Timothy is, where are other simple things that people can do for their businesses and for marketing, um, like on a day-to-day basis, kind of like the example that I've given to you about, getting information from your customers, that people can use.
Yeah, or some simple tools.
Yeah, sure. Simple tools or simple things people can do. Yeah.
Excel is a very simple tool. I think if you learn to start embracing numbers, there's something called numerophobia. People have fear for numbers, but using a tool such as Excel, you can build pretty much very simple models, such as linear regression. You can use it to create even predictions of where your next customers will be. Yeah, so using simple tools, there's what you call Google Data Studio. It's free. You can build very simple charts. Yeah, you can build. There are also some free resources available for SMEs. All these platforms such as Tableau, Power BI, have got very good tools they can give you for free, just to use maybe 3 months before you exhaust the usage bandwidth. Yeah, so you can
The
so the
freemium,
Tableau has
basically.
yeah
Yeah.
mm,
Nice.
yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, so top of mind, those are ones I can mention, which are much more less technical and easy to use. Huh?
Okay.
And
Awesome.
we also have YouTube to go into how to use
Of
these
course,
things as
yeah.
well, right? So
Yes. Oh,
a lot
yes.
of the tutorials are on Google, on YouTube. So you just go onto YouTube and say, how do I do linear regression on Excel sheet?
Yes.
And you can get the information, of course, about that, because we're not gonna, sort of go
Yeah.
into that. But yeah, how to use Google Data Studio. Again, I'm sure there's a video on that on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Great, super.
So we're on top of the hour. I would love for Tim to introduce that tool and to give you an overview of how we can get numbers out of traditional media where we thought we'd never, get clarification of how effective our marketing was. For example, and we talked about this on our webinar, how do you get data from a billboard you put out on Mombasa Road? How many eyeballs or people saw it and actually made a purchase because of it? So this is something Tim's been working on. And if I could, I don't know if Tim, you're able to share and introduce your tool and talk about it.
Yeah. So thanks, Eunice. So I wanted to see whether there's a volunteer can use who has downloaded the app. There's some instructions I've typed on the chat.
I'm an iOS person, so I don't have an Android.
Yeah, looking for Android. And by the way, do you know iOS has lately created a lot of restrictions? So
yes, it has.
You're not encouraged to buy adverts on Facebook or Google. A lot of ads are going to West because people are not seeing those adverts anymore. So now it's organic content, organic advertising it's being encouraged a lot for SMEs especially. Yeah.
Yes, I've noticed, Tim, that applications are asking my permission now, where before they would not ask my permission to promote their ads. So, you know, it's saying for me to enable my iOS phone to have access to the ads.
Yeah. Now you are opted out by default. Initially, you were opted in by default, so it was a choice to opt out, but that has changed now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the going away of the cookies that would track us on the web when you go from one web to another. That's going away. It's not gone yet, but it's going away. That's another thing us marketers has to contend with when we do ads for customers and clients. And if you are as a SME want to do ads, this is it's getting complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Who has downloaded the app? Any volunteer? Okay, so Kajigi, it's called Predictive Analytics on the App Store.
Can we have a volunteer, please?
It's for learning purposes, so
yes,
no one will pay. All right, thanks. Kanyigi and Neftron.
There we go.
Are there any questions from the Facebook audience?
Let's look into that. We have team members in here looking to make sure we keep up with the questions from Facebook.
All right, none for now.
Are you able to share, Tim?
Yeah, so who has downloaded and give you the next instructions?
I'm at 60% now, so it's quite slow in download.
Okay, no worries. Then once you're done, just alert me. You've seen the client code up there, and then email. Yeah, so you proceed to enter that.
So I had a question actually. You know how people say that in business, I don't have time for analytics.
Yeah.
Like, how do you overcome that?
And that's a mindset issue. So the best way to overcome is through change of perceptions. Yeah, change of perceptions.
I had to do a lecture once, and it was on data. And this was to folks in government, and these were guys from the Auditor General's office. And I referenced data being the new oil. And honestly, when you think about it, guys like Facebook and Google and all these other big companies are making money out of our data. So we are giving them a resource so they can continue making money. So if you're not utilizing data to grow your business, and saying you've no time for it, it's kind of like saying you're not going to keep up with your books. You don't want to know how much money you're making, so that then your business then is not a business. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think also, people trying to be the solopreneurs, they're doing everything on their own. In terms of so you don't have time to do the bigger picture of your business. And like you said, you want to see what's your how you're doing in your books, how you're doing, what's the business information that's coming out, what is the market information that's coming out. Those are really important parts of your business as well, apart from the the day-to-day running of the business, the operations, the taking care of the customers, all of that. So I think that's really important as part of your to-do list for the day or to-do list for the week or the month, however you do your analytics. I mean, simple analytics, Eunice, just like the Google Analytics we're talking about, your website, who's going on what page, how long are they spending there, what are the same questions, are they asking the same questions over and over, so yeah. So that could
it actually helps with planning as well, because if I'm selling stuff online and I start to see consumers are buying in bigger volume, then I can predict how much to have in my fulfillment center or my warehouse, or how much to order. If I'm buying things from China and you're ordering 100 and all of a sudden you see an uptick, then you know that it's time to bring in more, or even start planning accordingly to bring in team members to help you to carry the load of this increased work and requests for your products and services.
yeah.
So if you don't track this, you would not notice when there's that growth, and therefore you're continuing on your ordinary business and you lose customers because you're not responding to your customers' needs as they need to be responded to.
Absolutely. All right, I think Kanyingi is in. Kanyingi, are you able to share your screen by any chance?
No, it's okay. I
Sorry,
want him to.
I'm doing it on the phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
so
right.
I'll just do this. So Kanyingi, that's what you're seeing?
Yes. That's
if you see my presentation, that's yeah, sorry.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay, and Nina as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. So let's do this. So go to the first tab, written capture.
That's after billboards, yeah? So
After billboards, yeah. And then just take a photo of anywhere in the room where you are. Just take a photo and then click on the tick. And then also ensure your location is on. You know your phone location. Ensure it's on. Yeah. And then photo description. You just say a marketing demo. And then you can put your name there. So under quantity, just put any. We configure this app for doing deliveries. So someone is delivering things like sodas, milk, bread. So it's distribution. Then price, put any figure because this is just a demo. And then when you finish, say save or upload. It will tell you that this order has been successful, uploaded, created successfully. After you create successfully, it will show you this. You're able to see created successfully.
Okay. Kanyingi says okay.
Okay. Nina?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, so after there, now I want to show you now what this platform does. It enables collection of data in real time and in geolocation. So I'll be sharing my screen and to show you where the dashboard looks like from my side. So this is the dashboard that we use. I think you can be able to see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's got different elements here. So we've customized this dashboard for billboard advertising. So you may want to, there's an algorithm that calculates the different locations of billboards and gives you a score based on the visibility of that billboard. So this is it's a different app. So the first app that you saw there in green called Billboard, that's what it does. So I want to move to this side and do the mobile uploads and just show you what I mean. So already I can see from this side. So Nina, that's what you uploaded?
Nina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's about Kanyingi, I can see you are in Gong, that is. You're in
Oi.
Gong? Yeah. All right. Okay, so it does much more than that. Yeah, so of course you can check the satellite view. And when you switch on the satellite view, you can zoom, you can see the location where each particular, so you're assuming that you've got customers in different locations. So you like to know the location where these customers are located. Yeah, so that you can be able to provide for them. Maybe you want to develop a marketing campaign, you want to know which registrations they listen to, and so on and so forth. And so Nina, we can actually see how your home looks like, and we can brand attributes. You can know your profile. This neighborhood, is it familiar?
Gashie. Yes, that's Kihara Road.
Yeah, you can see in real time.
This is creepy.
It's creepy, huh? So
Yes,
so
it
that's
is.
what now. Now you can, now in terms of advertising, now supposing Nina was a shop owner and you are a brand manager and you like to know whether a store is branded because you paid an agency to do wall branding. Okay, so now you can use this to come and verify was it branded. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you use that technology. Yeah. So it works across the world. So I'm in Arusha, as I said. This is my location. You can see what I projected here. That's it. And you can see the same features where I'm located. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I am. Yeah. So unfortunately,
Wow.
the Google feature is not available in Tanzania. Of course, different countries have got different approvals, so they have not approved the Google to do theirs here yet. So you can see that's the location for Kenya. I can show you other features around here. So in Nairobi, we've done what we call location mapping. So we have a feature that gives you, based on the data for the census for 2019, we've populated the different census data. So you can see which counties have got the highest population, which sub-locations, yeah, based on this color code. Yeah, so this enables you to create proper intervention. Yeah. And then on this side, you can check the points of interest. So if you have an interest in providing for banks, you can click and you'll see the location of the banks. Hospitals, you can click and see the location of hospitals. Yeah, so each of these pins represents a hospital. Yeah, with the name there. Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a question from Beatrice, was it Beatrice? About the collection of data from locations that are latent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can share with you this feed. The other thing that you can use this system for is to know where to open a business. So if you go to that app can also tell you where to open a business. Yeah, discover business. You click on this. If you want to open a salon, yeah, so it pretty much can tell you. So this one is you can see it popping up. So you can check bank, Yoruba. So each that you click on will tell you, yeah, plus description about that. Yeah.
So does it tell you how many bars are close to you and maybe where there are no bars, so that then that's where I probably go open?
Exactly, yeah. So you're able to make your decisions based on location, yeah, of where you are. So that version works better with your mobile app. The mobile app is a module under business. So when you download that mobile app, it will show you business. Yeah, so this is a very good tool for SMEs so that you avoid opening businesses
Mhm.
where there's clutter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are other businesses.
But it also
that,
then I think, Tim, then I think
Yeah.
it also would help me map out where my customers are. And I'm thinking of Beatrice,
Yeah.
and I know Beatrice very well, and she sells this fantastic, brilliant charcoal briquette for barbecuing, and usually restaurants and
Yeah.
hotels are buying them.
Exactly. Yeah.
If I mapped out
Yeah.
where all these customers are, then I may be able to find other customers from that from that data set, right? So, and in fact, be able to create a good service a delivery option, because now I know each and every customer where they're at.
That's exactly what we use the tool for. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then in advertising, I'm able to determine where to place my advertising based on where my customers are.
Precisely. Yeah. And which medium to use, if it's
And
radio,
which medium.
TV, and also population demographic in terms of the gender, male, female, urban, rural, yeah, age-wise, yeah. Yeah, so I think
So
that
this is,
gives you a perspective.
Yeah, this is exciting. And I think I want to speak for the founders in the startup world, which I work when Beatrice was a startup when we first met. And one of the things we've always lacked is data.
Yeah.
And now this tool kind of gives you an idea of some or where your customers could be and where you could potentially venture out to. Not only that, how to reach them and reach them effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. So Beatrice, we are launching the app for iOS anytime. It's just been submitted for approval by the iOS. So, but at lead time about 6 weeks. Yeah. The code has been done, so they take time to approve apps on the store. Yeah, but if you want to use it for the business, it's available. We are using it already in Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. In Kenya, we've partnered with Diageo. I mean, Diageo are some of our clients. We are using it together with Saracen, an advertising agency. So if you want to have your guys, because I'll assume your guys in the field are not using iOS. Yeah, this is a tool which is for guys in collecting data in the field. That's why we prioritize Android. Yeah, cheap. It also works offline, so low latency. Yeah, you can upload data from low. Yeah. So feel free to.
Martin, I see your camera is up. Sorry. I was thinking Martin might have a question. He's got his camera on. Okay, no.
Okay.
Right. Anybody have a question?
Martin, you can have the camera on. It's just that we thought you had a question.
Yes, it's all right to have the camera on. We like seeing our audiences as well.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, we have a question. Yeah, go on.
This is for Mr. Timothy. Sorry, I got in a little late. I couldn't log in. You said that your app is available on Android. I've been looking at the site, at the website, and I didn't find anywhere to directly download it. How does somebody get it?
Okay. So it's on Play Store. Just type the word predictive analytics. Yeah, on the Play Store, and you will see our logo. Yeah, on the App Store. And then I'd given you, because we've locked the app for use by clients, so I'll need to give you the credentials to log in. It's not available for use. Yeah, it's private.
Oh, you can't open an account. You can't self-register. You'd have to register at the back end.
You can register an account, but you will need to alert me that you registered. Then I approve you to use it. You can set up your own account, but I'll need to approve you. Otherwise, you'll not access all the features. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the data collection, like how is it? Do like your customers, they create their own surveys and then they push it to users, or how does it work?
Yeah, so it depends with we can customize for you. You can create your own surveys. Yeah. Yeah, and then you push it to the different guys you want to get feedback from. Yeah. We also subscribe to the Kenya Data Protection Act. So we set you up on your own server. So what you're using
Okay.
is our front end. Yeah, we don't see the data. So
Okay.
if you already have an existing server, we connect
Mhm.
the data coming direct to you. So all you're using is our interface on the mobile app. Yeah.
Okay, so it means that we have the client gets their own portal, their own
Exactly.
everything. They're just using your app
Exactly.
as the
The conduit, yeah, for collection. But the app doesn't store any information. The information is stored in your server.
okay, yeah. I am quite curious about this because of my
Yeah.
research background. So
Okay.
maybe I can talk to you a bit later, like outside this. So in
Sure.
case my questions may be beyond the realm
No,
of what is being covered here.
no, totally understand. Yeah. Yeah, you can get my contacts here from Eunice and Rima anytime. You can reach out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did it pick an interest? Did it cause you to, this is a question to everybody. When you think about your business, does this give you a change in perspective or your approach to marketing, to collection of data? Because this is stuff we didn't have before. I mean, we're always looking for market data so I can say, for example, Timothy, you need to get into the Kampala market because there's this, and that, and the other. And from this, you probably are able to search and see what market opportunities are that in different regions, especially if the application is in Nigeria. If My Biz Market or MBM Africa wants to go to Nigeria, we can now begin to research and get an understanding of how to even approach that market. In the use cases of the clients you have, can you give us an industry indication so that folks here get an understanding how the industries that are on this application are using it?
Okay.
So is it retail?
Yes, retail. So for example, retail space, you have an organization such as Diageo. Yeah, so we're using this solution to optimize their distribution and marketing. Yeah, so there's data that's being analyzed on how much they spend on billboard advertising and what impact that has on the distribution of an uptake of their beer products across. Yeah, there's a client in Ghana who does soft drinks and milk. So yeah, so they're using it in both ways in production. So they've mapped all the farmers who supply them with milk and they're able to study the patterns of distribution of milk and correlated with weather data. So they're able to do what's called demand and supply matching, so that they regulate the prices of milk and buying. And then on the consumer facing side, they're using the same to analyze location data of billboards and what impact that the promotion of those billboards have on the uptake of their milk products. Yeah, so those are the kind of use cases that we've seen. Yeah.
Nyingi has a question. Go ahead and mute.
Yeah, I was answering to your question when you asked earlier whether this pricked anything in our businesses and what we do.
Yeah.
And I just want to show you something. I don't know whether you can see the back of my wall there. Those are maps I have.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure, because my wife and I run a bakery business.
Okay.
And so everything we've been trying to figure is sort of being answered by some of the things that Tim is saying. In terms of mapping out distribution, tracking, and stuff like that. So I can't. I have 1,000 questions, so I can't ask you. Just reacting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question on whether this is just an open. I think, like Terry, I'm having to touch base with Timothy afterwards because I have one question about how this can be applied. And what we do.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks.
I was going to say, Tim, I think we need a call because if some of our audiences could benefit from the questions you ask Nyingi, the questions you ask Terry. So if we could do something on the side and have this discussion, that would be awesome. And if for everybody who's here, if you want to participate, Tim can organize a Zoom call where we come and join and ask, blasting with questions, and let everybody learn from that, from you, Kanyinge's questions, and from Terry's question, whoever else is here that may have questions. And as a marketer and as a founder of another startup that I need to reach out to customers that are beyond Nairobi or beyond Kenya. Rima, I can see you smiling like you want to say something.
This could be our part 2, so we can do like in the next week or 2 or something like that. Do a part 2, get Timothy come back in again, and then we blast him with more questions, because it feels like as if everyone has more questions, and we're towards the end of the session. We have like 4 minutes remaining, but it feels like, you know, we could do a second session for this.
Yeah. Sure.
My head is spinning. Yes, my head is spinning. I'm thinking of fulfillment of, you know, e-commerce stores, and you know, mapping out where that customer base is and organizing our fulfillment process. I can't wait. Yes, Rima, go ahead and finalize the call. Thank you.
Great. So, so we do have a couple of questions. We have, we've got Penina. Why don't you just share with everybody what you need in terms of feedback from everyone? Feel free to just add it on the chat over here. And you know, we wanna ask you some questions, like, for example, how did you like this? How was it for you? What other topics you'd like us to talk about? You know, so we've got a bunch of questions over here for you. And Penina, you can just share, and you can tell us what you need us to do.
Okay, Neptune is gonna do the projection.
Okay.
So Neptune, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm sharing a web address on the chat.
Okay.
Together with the code.
All right, thank you.
Great. So then you just need to click on slido.com. Let's see, can we put it here like this? All right, yeah. And then what do they need to put into there, Neptune?
There is a code 825704.
Okay. So if I go to slido.com and put 825704, right on the top, right? Joining as a participant. Okay, so it opens up for you. So first question is, how did you find the topic? If you can just put something in for there. All right. Just give a couple more seconds for that. Okay. So after that, what do we do? Your name. So you put in your name. Okay. Join. And you go into that live quiz. I think everyone's in the live quiz now.
Yeah.
How many questions do you have in there?
About 3 more.
Okay, so we've got 3 questions. That's fine. This is a great way of showing how to gather data. So if you're ever doing a webinar or something like that, you know, you can always sort of put this for yourselves. All right, shall we go to the next one?
Kindly write the event.
Okay.
I missed some of the questions, but I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eunice.
All right, that's all right.
Okay.
10 more seconds.
It feels like a game right now.
Okay, next. You can share your suggestion, just a sentence.
More time. Would you guys want to do this for what, 2 hours? What's more time for you? I would love to know that.
The next one could be purely a Q&A because it would be a follow-up to this.
Yep. I think that's great. I think we can just set up something for sure, and we'll send it out to everybody. Set a date and then just, get it done. How is Timothy? How is your next week? Let's just start from there.
Okay, thanks. If you have any topic you want us to talk about next, kindly.
Timothy, are you available next week for next week
No.
Thursday at time like now?
No, next week is taken, so perhaps the other week after next.
The week after. Okay, good. So we've got a date now.
Yeah.
We already have part 2 of this.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
And thank you, everybody, for
If you don't know right now, please feel free to email to us or message us or on DM us on social media and let us know what kind of other topics you'd like us to cover. We're happy to sort of put that into our next topic that comes up. Because we do, like I said, we do 1 webinar and 1 Q&A every month. For next month is going to be 1 webinar and 2 Q&As.
That's the last question.
Super. Okay, email, LinkedIn, that's great. I think a lot of people get their info from LinkedIn more than anything as well. But email is the most. And who said email marketing is died, has died? So that's a myth right there. Great.
Thank you. We have one question here.
Uh-huh.
An anonymous user is asking, where can I learn data analytics? Is there a school you'd recommend?
Timothy can answer this question.
Just ask again.
The question here is, where can I learn data analytics, and is there a school you'd recommend?
Yes, we do run a college for training data analytics. So just send me an email, then I'll send you the course brochure.
Can they get some information about the course on your website?
Yes, yeah. So we run, we have 3 verticals: technical, professional, and industry vertical. Yeah, so for you, data analytics under the technical vertical. So there's a 3-month course that we run. Yeah, it's certified by NITO. So if you do masterclass dots, you can use this. Let me type it there.
Okay.
Thank you for your feedback, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Neptune, for that. Really appreciate it. Well, thank you. I would like to thank the team first, Moray, Penina, and Neptune, for making this happen for us. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everybody who has actually come today and stayed all the way to the end with all your questions and your comments and your input. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and of course from Eunice's as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to hosting you again for the next webinar, for the next Q&A. So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for this insights. And we're looking forward to part 2 in 2 weeks.
Sure. I look forward, and yeah, thank you again for welcoming me here.
Thank you, Tim. This was so nice.
Sure.
Timothy is going to be back with by popular demand.
Yeah, I'm happy that you took it positively, and yeah, it's always the intention to add value to what you already know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Sure.
so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Beatrice. Kanyingi, thank you. Martin Hinga, thank you. Motoni, thank you. I see you there. Grace, thank you for coming. Stella, you too. Thank you. Kevin, we thank you so much for attending this session.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And Yingi, so nice to see you here. Really.
Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. This is, yeah, it's on another level.
I'm seeing that you're not going to miss any of our webinars anymore.
No, not that I want.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Thank you.
It's so good. Thank you.
All right, stop recording.